Uh, wel- Welcome to the first triangular joint session between Karachi Toastmasters Club, Toastmasters of Hyderabad Entrepreneur, and Oil City Toastmasters Club. Few ground rules to follow. You are all requested to mute your mics, but you are encouraged to turn on your video so that we have better interaction and we can take some good selfies as well. Uh, with that, I would like to hand over the charge to the president, and currently he is the district director of District 122. Please welcome 4 times DTM Distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran. And it is a thorough honor to be one of the presiding officers of this meeting. It is wonderful to have you all. And to be very honest, it is kind of a dreamlike moment for all of us. We never imagined that 3 clubs across the world will be joining and coming together in a combined meeting, and that too in an advanced format where the clubs will belong to Nigeria, Pakistan, and India, and there will be a keynote speaker from Canada. So, and of course, one of the speakers is from the United States. That is absolutely fantastic, and it all teaches us to be grateful for what we have and what we can do, because life happens to all of us, and it has happened. It has continued to happen to all of us for the last 2-3 years, but there are plenty of things to celebrate out of that ugly situation that we've been facing. And this is one of them. We may have lost a lot of lives. And of course, there's no compensation for that. A lot of people have lost their livelihoods. We all have generally suffered weakening financial footing as individuals, as communities, as countries. But that also has brought us closer like this. So it is my honor and pleasure to welcome you all to this combined meeting whose theme is the love triangle. And of course, the love triangle is the most popular theme of movies made across the world, whether it's Hollywood or Bollywood or Nollywood. And it also is a very good representation of 3 clubs that are in love with each other. And this is perhaps the first of many dates. Let's see where it leads to. So it is my honor and pleasure to welcome my fellow presiding officers of this meeting. And from Toastmasters of Hyderabad, I believe it's Toastmaster Kalpana. Toastmaster Kalpana, please share your thoughts. Toastmaster Kalpana, are you there?
I believe she is unable to join. You can ask Shiva to represent.
Okay, of course. So Toastmaster Shiva, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to the fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to today's meeting, which we have across the globe, India, Pakistan, and from Canada. We have different audience in our club, in our meeting today. It was a privilege for me to be a part of this meeting, being an evaluator, or being an audience. It is a huge privilege for me being here. And I'll expect we have a very good meeting today, and we learn each other, and we are here to learn from each other. Even we are having a lot of 4-time DTMs and DTM squires and the new people who recently joined in our clubs. So it will be a good learning for all of us. Thank you. Welcoming everyone. With this, I would like to hand over the stage to our TMoD of today, DTM Talha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shiva. Lovely to have you. Representing Oil City Toastmasters Club from Nigeria, we have Toastmaster Tosin. Toastmaster Tosin, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It is obviously a pleasure to be here, having this love triangle, like we have aptly themed the meeting. And honestly, I think it's beautiful how today, as Toastmasters, we can connect with each other from different parts of the world. Just maybe over a year ago, that would not really have been possible, but it's one of the many opportunities that we see today. And there's something distinguished Toastmaster Raghu says that sticks with me. And it's usually traveling helps eradicate ignorance. And though we might not have been able to travel physically today, we have traveled virtually to meet with one another. And I sincerely believe and hope that throughout the course of the meeting, we will be learning a lot about each other and a lot about becoming better communicators and leaders. I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with every single one of you on this call. I look forward to having a wonderful time.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tosin. And now it is my privilege to hand over the charge to our Toastmaster of the day, which happens to be me. And it's kind of convenient. I don't have to give a long intro, and it will end up saving a lot of time, hopefully, unless I drone on and on, in which case, Mr. Timer, you are fully authorized to cut my audio off. So it's interesting. I'll just say this one thing. Today's meeting theme is, of course, connect, and connected we are to each other. There's, I believe many of us are aware of this comedy sketch show, Saturday Night Live, that happens. And according to our time, it airs early Sunday mornings, but actually, as the name so obviously states, as per the US time, it airs every Saturday night. And it's a comedy institution going on for close to 50 years. For me, watching those sketches every Sunday morning is what makes a Sunday Sunday, because they appear on YouTube and I can watch the playback. Of course, I can't watch it live, but and today I discovered that somehow in the course of one night, the show had completely changed. They had to send their audience home due to the Omicron outbreak. They had to send most of their cast home due to the Omicron outbreak. They had a musical guest, a strange creature called Charlie XCX, which purportedly is a singer. I don't know what is she famous for, heaven knows. They had a celebrity host, Paul Rudd, and they did the whole show with 4 or 5 people. And they did it. They had Tom Hanks, they had Tina Fey. So I don't know. A call I received from our VP Education today reminded me of that situation. Many of our speakers and role players faced some emergencies and they were not appearing in this meeting as a result. So first of all, let's all wish them that they recover from their respective emergencies and everything gets fine with them. And secondly, I must admire the coordination team of the 3 clubs that constantly exchange messages, even they're being exchanged right now behind the scenes to make this meeting happen and fill out the roster. So that's the Toastmaster spirit. So congratulations, everyone. We are doing far better than Saturday Night Live in terms of continuity of our meeting, in terms of in the face of emergencies and adversities. So it's my honor to invite today's general evaluator, Toastmaster Tosin, who will go on to introduce the role players for today. Over to you, Toastmaster Tosin.
General evaluator is Muhammad, I think Muhammad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, general evaluator is it Toastmaster Milind?
It is Muhammad Abdul Rahman.
Muhammad Abdul Rahman. Okay. Yes, sorry. Toastmaster Abdul Rahman. Yeah. Another, so you can see live before your eyes the changes happening. So, Honorable General Evaluator Toastmaster Abdul Rahman, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Talha. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Indeed, I'm very excited to be the last minute General Evaluator of this very special meeting today. Today, in my role as the general evaluator, I'll be keeping a close watch of the proceedings of the entire meeting from the beginning till the end. I'll see how well the role players perform their roles and if there is anything they could do better. I will also see how the entire team works together as one team. To carry out my task today, I have a team of role players to help me evaluate this meeting. The first role is of the timer and will be handled by Toastmaster Imran. I don't think Toastmaster Imran is in the meeting today.
He is.
Is someone taking his role?
Yes, I can take his role.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry, Toastmaster Imran is there. Oh, yes. I'm sorry for that. The second role in my team is counter, and this role will be played by Toastmaster Divya. The next role is listener, and this will be handled by Toastmaster Giri. The fourth role I would like to introduce is like the English teacher, and it is language evaluator and grammarian, and it is being taken by Toastmaster SA. Last but not the least, the role of tech host and word counter and several other roles is being done by DTM Talha. These are my team members and who are going to help me run the meeting smoothly and effectively. I'll come back with my detailed report of the complete meeting when called upon by DTM Talha, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you. Over to you, DTM Talha.
Thank you so much, Journal Evaluator, Toastmaster Abdul Rahman, for that beautiful introduction. Now we move on to our keynote speaker. And our keynote speaker today, I don't know how to introduce him, honestly, because he is so many things. If you look at his profile, it is positively intimidating. Oh yeah, I've been just reminded that we need to tell the audience our word of the day, at least before we continue with the meeting. So our word master, can you share with us the word of the day so that we can try to use it during the meeting?
Yes, please. Good afternoon. Kindly confirm you can hear me.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Our word of the day is affectionate. Affectionate. And it means having or displaying tender feelings, affection or warmth. Used in an example, every new year, friends and loved ones share affectionate greetings. Again, the word of the day is affectionate. I'm also sharing it in the chat box and I encourage us to use it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our grammarian and word master, for that lovely word of the day. So on the topic of our keynote speaker for today, his profile is intimidating. He has done so much. He has held so many positions, but I know him to be a kind, considerate, and affectionate person. He has somehow universal love for humanity and for Toastmasters. And he is very fond of building bridges. And he is a great learner and he's a great source of inspiration. He is currently serving as the Club Growth Director of District 86, Canada. And before that, he presided over My Speak Toastmasters Club. And My Speak Toastmasters Club was locked in a head-to-head battle for the #1 position throughout the last year with my home club. And I can't even begin to explain how amazing that was, because we were in constant interaction. We were exchanging tips, we were exchanging expertise. It was beautiful and still is a beautiful relationship. My Speak and my home club have had 2 combined meetings so far, and we have no plans of stopping. And a lot of that credit goes to DTM Brahm Memone. So everyone, please put your hands together for our keynote speaker with his keynote speech called Connect, DTM Brahm Memone. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Talha. Even I'm beginning to get intimidated by this person that you just introduced, because I don't know this person that you've introduced. All I know is this person is just an ordinary human being doing what he can do as best as he can. Connect. So, you know, it is very, very important in this time and day today, and what's going on with the story that distinguished Toastmaster Talha explained to us about Saturday Night Fever. Fever? Yes, fever. You got it right. Because everyone's got that fever of what's going to happen, what's happening, where can we go from here, you know? So we are all stressed and struggling with the crisis that's going on currently. So with the crisis that's going on currently, and I'm trying to set up my technology here, there you go, is, you know, there's so much confusion. There's cultural and social confusion as to where is humanity headed to. You know, everyone is stressed out, everyone is frustrated, irritated. They want the old door that is closed to reopen, and so they can walk through and continue with their business as normal, the normal that used to be. But that normal wasn't really normal. And what we're being presented with is perhaps a different type of normal. And is this going to be the new normal? And is this going to be the normal? I have no idea, but we know there's a crisis happening. And so as Toastmasters, what is our job is to transform the experience of people, to transform their experience from what they had experienced to what they're experiencing to what could possibly be in the near future or currently, as we change our minds. And how we change our minds is very, very important, because your mindset, I don't call it mindset really, I call it mind frame. How you're framing the world in your mind determines your reality. And that transforms experience. But as leaders, in Toastmasters, we are all leaders, would you agree? And great communicators, or we are learning to be great communicators. How can we transform that experience? And I think we can transform experience through connection. Here's a puzzle. The puzzle is simply this. We have technology, right? We are using technology right now, currently, and it has the ability to connect us to everyone globally. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we didn't even know what Zoom was. And then when we started Zoom last year, maybe in February, March, depending on when the pandemic hit your region, you know, Zoom was in its infancy, and it was very, very different to what it is now. And it's going to be very different as we go along. So that's technology. And then we have leadership. Leadership is, of course, right here. We are Toastmasters, we are leaders. And as leaders, we are asked to come forth and serve with excellence, have integrity, respect, which are our 4 values. But leadership is an art. That's why I put the word art right here, because, you know, when you go on Amazon and search for books on leadership and just type the word leadership, thousands of books will appear in a huge list of books. And if you go to Google and type the word leadership in the search engine, what will happen? You'll get millions of entries in 0.26 seconds or something like that. And yet, they are failing on leadership globally. Why is that? Because leadership is not a science. Leadership you cannot put technology into leadership and say, this is how leadership should be working. Leadership is an art, because every person is different. Every person's experience is different. How they come across, how they feel and experience the world is different. And it's a concept of creativity. That's why it's an art and not a science. And that's why there's always confusion when people make it science and then say, here's the formula for leadership. It doesn't work. Taking technology and leadership, we can create different experiences for people. And that's how we may be able to change the world. But here's a caveat, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have to increase the way you are going to see the world. You're going to have to understand the world first. Sir Francis Bacon in the 16th century simply said this: the world is not going to be narrowed till it will go into the understanding, but the understanding has to be expanded till it can take in the world. Sir Francis Bacon, 16th century, it means that our perspectives have to change. We cannot look at the world the same way, because if we do, we keep on looking at the door that has closed, and we want that door to reopen, and we want to walk through and say, the old normal that I was used to, I must have that back. And you aren't going to get that back at all. We have to change our expectations. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at technology and how it can help us. And I'll just give you a brief overview, of course. I mean, this is not a lesson on technology, but technology shapes experiences. As you can see, in a physical meeting, the experience is different, and currently on an online meeting is different. And how you can enhance that experience online can also be different. It depends on how we know technology, how well we know it, and how we're going to use it. So it shapes experiences, and technology does change culture. And the very simple way of exhibiting how it changes culture is there's a smartphone, right? 10 years ago, how many of you had a smartphone? Very few of us had a smartphone. We may have it a flip phone or whatever, but we didn't have the smartphone. As soon as the smartphone came in and all the apps were developed, and now most of us are sort of embedded in our smartphones. That's the culture, right? This is the culture we live in right now. So it's just changed culture. And you know, you've seen many cartoons about people gathering together in family gatherings or friends or whatever, and they end up looking at their phones rather than talking to each other. It has changed culture totally, completely, how people are interacting with each other. So that's what technology does. How can we use it to sort of enhance culture, enhance experiences? That is what we really need to look at, rather than sort of becoming part of it, to use it as a tool. So technological revolutions, however, do create social and cultural chaos. So do pandemics. Pandemics create technological revolutions, as you know, and that has created lots of social and cultural chaos. And so what we need to do is, as I've said before, Sir Francis Bacon again, is change in consciousness has to happen to accommodate the new variable, or you go out of existence. That is the law of thermodynamics, and as well as the law of evolution. Charles Darwin, the one that adapts the fastest and the best will survive. So we have to adapt. Let me take you back 60,000 years ago. Now, the very first man on the planet, as the science says, stood on his hind legs, whatever, and walked the planet about 150 to 200,000 years ago as Homo sapien. But 60,000 years ago, this particular animal or man or human being started in Africa. This is through the DNA sampling, and they left Africa and went all over the world. You can find this man in Siberia. You can find this man in the Sahara Desert, plus 50 degrees in Sahara Desert, minus 50 degrees in Siberia, a total of difference of 100 degrees in total. And yet they were able to adopt and adapt to wherever they went. Now, I know that perhaps our sound, the sound system will not work here. So bear with me as best as you can as I play a little clip from The Incredible Human Journey featuring Dr. Alice Roberts, but the message is very clear, which will appear in writing on the screen here. And I hope that you can hear it, but if you can, then forgive me.
So I've come to the end of this particular journey, and the people I've met along the way have helped me to understand more about these essential human characteristics that we all share: ingenuity, resourcefulness, and adaptability.
So there you go. Dr. Alice Roberts in the program called The Human Journey, The Incredible Human Journey. It was all about tracing how human beings started in Africa and sort of went all over the world. And what they had was ingenuity, resourcefulness, and how they adapted to circumstances. That had us be very, very successful as a species, as a Homo sapien. The Homo sapien, by the way, means the wise man, the wise person, right, in Latin. And let's hope that we are wise enough to have digital literacy, to adapt and to adopt the technologies that are available to us to connect with people all over the world. It is so important to understand technology. And if you come to my Speak Toastmasters Club, that is the first thing that we did, was that how can we use Zoom and maximize the use of Zoom and WhatsApp and all the tools that were available so that we could have one of the top clubs on the planet, which is what Talha was talking about. Is we were neck and neck last year, and it was our digital literacy that really helped me personally to connect with people all over the globe and bring them into my Speak. And now we have members from 14 different countries. So, you know, the Zoom that we know, or the virtual meetings, whether you're using Microsoft Teams or WebEx, all the other tools that for virtual meetings, it's still in infancy, by the way, and it's going to become very, very different in the next 2 or 3 years. And I always say this, and this is my personal opinion, that currently I'm speaking in English and you are hearing me in English, but suppose 2 or 3 years down the road, it's possible that I'll be speaking in English and you could hear me at the same time live in Urdu or in Mandarin or in German or in Igbo if you're in Nigeria. I think that's the language. And you'd hear it in your own local language. And you wouldn't have to wonder, should I join this meeting? They're all going to be speaking English, or they're all speaking French or German, or they're all going to be speaking Hindi. No, perhaps not. And the technology is already available now, but it will be perhaps live and available on our meetings. We have so many different collaboration tools that we need to become familiar with. One of the collaboration tools that I use when people want to make an appointment with me, this is since the pandemic, is because I meet a lot of people globally, is I use an app called Calendly. I send them a link if they want to make an appointment with me. I say, go to this link, click this link, you'll be taken to my online calendar and decide when you have an open spot and see the open spot I have and book a meeting with me. And when they do, Calendly will send them a Zoom link. It's all automated totally, and they will book a meeting with me. Before, what I used to do is we would go back and forth as to when the best time would be, and then we would decide who's going to do the Zoom link and so on, and did that forever, right? Now with that collaboration tool, instantaneously within a minute, it's all set. So those are the collaboration tools that you can use. And of course, there are emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and augmented reality, which Meta, Facebook, is all about virtual reality and augmented reality, right? That's all Meta is all about, all that fuss they're creating the metaverse. And all these things, if used correctly, can change the world and enhance human beings. So we have to be very careful, like I've said before, don't let technology, and I'll move out of the screen so you can see this, don't let technology master you. Like our smartphones have tended to master us and our brains, we still need to remain human. We still need to connect. If technology masters us, You're not connecting. You may have thousands of people on Facebook, right? But you're not really connecting. So, we become very, very isolated. The perspective of a separate, isolated self is a deception we are living into every day by becoming even more isolated with our technologies. And it's so important to understand the difference between using technology as a tool, or it becomes part of us and we sort of sink into it and we disappear as being human. And that's very, very possible in the near future, that it could happen. So technology shapes experiences, it changes culture, and we have to caution ourselves not to be isolated by being embedded into technology. Otherwise, we miss on the human experience. Talking about isolation, here's a typical meeting, right, that we have. And this typical meeting, this is at my speak, there's people all in the screen, and currently right now, right, we have people in our meetings here, and they're all isolated in different rectangles, right? 15, 20, 30 people at a time. Sometimes in our meetings, there's 60 or 70 people. They're all isolated. They are there, they're communicating with each other, but are they really connecting? Currently, as well, new employees who are joining organizations, brand new people out of university, organizations are all hiring. Those organizations that are hiring, they're hiring online. You have to go to work online. Day one of your work, you're online. So you don't meet your colleagues like you used to in the physical world. You are totally isolated. And so, people are just wondering how can they sort of connect with people, and organizations are not able to give their people the ability to connect with their colleagues. Those people are having problems as to how can I do my work, who's going to be my colleague. I'm supposed to go next week to the office, I'm in online, and give my report, and I haven't even met anybody, and I'm doing work from home. And it is the same with our guests and with our members as well. We feel very, very isolated. So that experience that we're going to create is and has to be that we have to touch humanity in each one of us. And the social and cultural interactions are rich and creating deeper experiences amongst ourselves. And that is the main thing, is how can we overcome the existential angst amongst our members and with people that visit us. Touch humanity is very, very important. You see, we can communicate, we learn how to communicate, words keep flowing back and forth, but are we really connecting with each other? We want to communicate so that we can build organizations, we can build communities, we can create projects and so on, but without connection, which is the key factor in becoming more human and really creating something outstanding, is missing. It is only through connection that we can collaborate at a deeper level and create unprecedented results that will create a strong community. Connect is the word. Connect is the key word that we have, that we need to connect with people. So, ladies and gentlemen, you must touch humanity. I'll have to look at the time here. Oh my goodness, I'm running late here. Just give me a second. Okay, I've got a very urgent call. There you go. See, I've been taken over by technology. So, and hope it's not an emergency. That, oh my goodness, just bear with me. And no, this is not deliberate. It is something that is very, very urgent. That my phone's ringing off the hook, and it is very urgent. So bear with me. This is not a setup. It is true what's happening here. So, what a coincidence, right, ladies and gentlemen? And we are running out of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. I have ended my emergency and we are good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask for a couple more minutes. Is that human beings should not become computers, and computers should not become human beings, because as you know, Elon Musk is working on a project where you can embed a chip in your head, right? And when you embed a chip in your head and you can download data, but you're missing the human experience. Computers cannot emulate life as we know it. Even 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years from now, artificial life and life as we know it as a human being is really different. So this is the caution that I always have about technology. And so here's a documentary that I'm creating with some indigenous people in Africa. And their technology is simple, that their indigenous technology allows them to be connected to their environment, to the biosphere, and the interdependence of everything. And they understand that. And they don't want to come into the modern market economy. They want to remain as they are because they don't want to take on technologies and the market economy because it destroys their culture. And so we have to be careful about how we must be very careful on the destruction of our culture with technology while we are connecting. So we have to bring together the pieces of puzzle to serve human beings, yet use technology as a tool. And so leadership is all about to uplift people, to inspire people, to dare to care for people, to be a space for being self-directed. Why self-directed? Because Toastmasters is a self-directed program, right? Would you agree? And so we have to be self-directed. And this is all about crafting your competencies, your effectiveness to be a human being, and the continuous improvement of learning, relearning, and unlearning things that do not serve you. Ladies and gentlemen, so that is the most important thing about technology and about creating connection. In Toastmasters, we learn how to articulate thoughts and ideas into a message and presentation that amplifies our impact, right? Would you agree? But what's really missing, therefore, is the ability to inspire, negotiate, inform, and to take action so that we can act correctly and create those results that we want. And it can only happen by connecting. Connection is the key word. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Incredible, DTM Brahm. That was really, really inspiring. And we need 5 more minutes of your time. Everyone, the floor is open for questions. Just raise your hand, or maybe you can go without raising your hand. So anyone who has questions? And okay, if no one has, I would ask one question from DTM Brahm. You had this very interesting aspect highlighted about a major effort now to make machines that are as intelligent or as efficient as humans, or even to replace humans. And we see that all around us increasingly. Even last week, there was a news that they had created a certain molecular robots that were capable of emulating all the attributes of life. What do you think is the human essence that, in your opinion, cannot be replicated or simulated?
You see, as first of all, let's look at robots or computers or whatever, or artificial intelligence. The data that they're feeding is working on certain amount of data. And the data that we are feeding is our own inadequacies, our own fears, and so on, which creates the socioeconomic construct and which creates the data, which then is fed into the artificial intelligence, which then tries to emulate a human being. But a human being is really capable of being self-realized, to be totally conscious, and to feel that interconnectedness with everything. Will the machines, or artificial intelligence, or robots help us do that? Do the machines think that they are interconnected with everything, with every form of life in the biosphere? We ourselves aren't able to do that. We are at the infancy of humanity. We really need to grow even more to be self-realized human beings. Most of the economy and how we operate is in the deficit mode. And so our intelligence, artificial and real, is acting in a deficit mode. There's more to it than running on a deficit mode. And it's a psychological thing, is how to be a self-realized human being. And now you don't have to be on a mountain, Talha, to become that guru, to be self-realized. Every person on the screen here can be a self-realized person if they put in the effort and they know how to become a self-realized person. So that's the answer.
Thank you so much, DTM Brahm. And yes, you're right. I believe nothing can match our knack for consciousness and for constant innovation and for our ability to connect with other humans and species and to think of new things, most importantly. You raise a very interesting point and about those machines acting on the inputs provided by humans. We have a question from Toastmaster Saurabh Agarwal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Talabin. Thank you, DTM Brahm, for that wonderful keynote. So I have one question. So this is a situation which we are facing in our daily life as well. So when a new joiner joins the company, right, there is no physical connect. So in that case, they just come to the weekly connect, they just come to the one-on-one. And how do you create that personal touch with the person? Because whatever you try, that personal touch is not being created. And these people, like they are fresh from the college, they are lateral
Yes.
hires,
Mhm.
they feel disconnected, they feel like, so that connect is not getting created
Yes.
right now. So what's your
Exactly.
suggestion on that?
And there's been quite a number of articles in the press about that, the isolation that new employees face that are fresh out of college, right? It is a big problem. It is a big problem in Toastmasters for our guests and our new members at the same time. So if I answer this question is about Toastmasters and in organizations as well, is assign them a mentor right away. Assign them a group where they can connect, and not talk about work, but they can talk about anything else that they can talk about. When you go to work, for example, and you start to meet colleagues, and then you like some people and you'll be drawn to some people, and then, slowly but surely, you gain trust, and then you start to have these conversations that are maybe off topic. What's your favorite movie? Where do you like to go and eat? And you might share something personal about yourself, and they'll share something personal about themselves. And so those sort of things should be available in a corporate background, in a corporate environment, and in a Toastmasters club. So a meeting is just that 2 hours. So for example, today, 8:30 to 10:30 Pakistan time. But beyond that, are we really all connected here and know each other? No, we don't. Could we do a more better connection with each other? Yes, we can. We could have breakout rooms, right, after this, and put people in breakout rooms and say, oh, I would like to meet this person, and which breakout room they are in, and let's go and have a little chat with them. And we'll just, let our hair down and just connect with people. When I first came into the meeting today here, none of us were very serious. We were talking about other things besides Toastmastering, or this meeting is going to happen. And, I was drinking my tea with the Toastmasters logo, and we joked about that, stuff like that. So that helps us connect. And that should be available to organizations. The organizations should not be serious. They should be human. They should not be driven by technology. They should be driven by human experience. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful thought. And I'll try to apply that in my organization as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DTM Brahm. That was beautiful. Not only your keynote, but your answers to the question. And it is refreshing, honestly, to see someone advocating humanity in the face of technology. It is very rare these days. And I believe I speak for everyone when I say that we all got very, very inspired from your speech about prioritizing the human element in everything we do. And it is very, very common that we lose sight of it. For example, when I've seen board meetings. In fact, I report to the boards of directors. And more often than not, we walk into a meeting and the meeting starts and they start gossiping with each other. The meeting has started, but they're gossiping with each other about their respective companies, their foreign trips, their children and grandchildren, and the fancy possessions that they're amassing. And this continues for like half an hour or 45 minutes, and only then they get down to business, almost as an afterthought. But today, your speech made me realize that that's all part of catching up with each other, in matching the frequency, because after all, in order for anything to happen, in order for any decision to be taking place, the stakeholders first have to have a human connection with each other, rather than a corporate connection or a professional connection. So that was beautiful, DTM Brahm Memone, and we couldn't be more grateful for you to spare your time and share with us your wisdom. You can share, anyone who has any more questions, you can share it in the Zoom chat box, or you can personally share it with DTM Brahm via private chat. And now we move on to the next segment of the meeting, which is the prepared speeches. And just so everybody knows, prepared speeches in this format proceed a little differently, although there are many interpretations of the advanced meeting format around the world. But the one that we tend to follow is that a speech takes place and then immediately it is evaluated by the lead evaluator. And the lead evaluator then calls on 2 people for commendations and 2 people for recommendations. And after that, the commendations and recommendations, by the way, are 1 minute each. And after that, the speaker is invited for their feedback about the recommendation and commendations and the evaluation that they received. So moving on, I will now invite our first speaker, who is DTM Sarfaraz Nazir, and his evaluator is Toastmaster Puneet. So Toastmaster Puneet, please introduce the speaker and the speech. And of course, you'll be conducting the whole evaluation session. So over to you. And everybody, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Puneet and DTM Sarfaraz.
So much, everyone. So today, distinguished Toastmaster Sarfaraz Nazir will be attempting level 5 project 1, which is leading in your voluntary organization. So the purpose of this project is for DTM Sarfaraz to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a voluntary organization. Timer, please note that the time is 5 to 7 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds. And he is taking from engaging humor pathway. So I wish DTM Sarfaraz all the best. And I will be assisted in the recommendation and commendation by a team of amazing evaluators, namely Toastmaster Anto, Toastmaster Kalpana, Toastmaster Saurabh, and Toastmaster Shiva. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Most of us have heard the phrase, sweet revenge. Scientists have found that revenge really is sweet, that it activates the same part of the brain that fires up when someone reaches affectionately for a chunk of premium chocolate. As an industrial engineer, I was serving as president of the Fort Worth, Texas chapter of the Institute of Industrial Engineers. Our chapter was an average chapter. We just did the minimum required actions. Across town was the Dallas, Texas chapter. They were an active chapter. Once they were ranked among the top 10 chapters. Because of their success, the Dallas chapter looked down upon the Fort Worth chapter. Every February, a joint meeting was held among 3 chapters, just like this one, the Fort Worth chapter, the Dallas chapter, and the University of Texas student chapter. I was waiting to hear from the president of the Dallas chapter to arrange the joint meeting. I never got the call. Instead, I received a meeting notice that the Dallas chapter was holding a joint meeting with the student chapter. They left the Fort Worth chapter out. The meeting was a tour of General Motors manufacturing plant where Chevys and Cadillacs are produced. Since I had not planned on our chapter having a meeting, I decided to join in on the tour. Before we went inside the manufacturing plant at General Motors, the president of the Dallas chapter stood on the steps of the plant to address the gathering. She was a young, pretty, and perky, perkier than the Folgers crystal dry coffee. She began, "Raise your hand if you are a member of the Dallas chapter. Raise your hand if you're a guest of the Dallas chapter. And raise your hand if you are a member of the student chapter." A member of Fort Worth chapter standing next to me said, "Sarfaraz, did you notice that she did not recognize us?" Yes, I did. I was furious, but I did not assuage my feelings of outrage in a public outcry. I don't remember what made me more angry. The fact that she did not recognize me as the president of the Fort Worth chapter, or that I was shunned by a beautiful president. I wanted revenge. No, I did not want to dance on her grave. I had other plans. I made the daunting decision to carry on as president of the chapter for one more year. I had a vision. I contacted some of the active members of the chapter and discussed it with them that we will no longer be an average chapter. We are going to be among the top 10 chapters so that Dallas chapter cannot rub our noses. Now, I mentioned to them that we want to be among the top 10 chapters, but personally, I had a burning desire to be among the top 5 chapters. Why? The top 5 chapters were recognized at the annual convention of the Institute of Industrial Engineers. The convention that year was in Hollywood, California. I took a piece of paper and wrote down every action item that had to be done in order for us to become a top chapter. Then I went back and checked off all the items that I personally could do. Throughout the year, I kept contacting members of my chapter. So to make sure that we were on target, that we were on the path to become an outstanding chapter. I was so elated when I received a letter from the Institute of Industrial Engineers. "Mr. Sarfaraz Nazir, congratulations. The Fort Worth chapter is among the top 5 chapters. The ranking of the top 5 chapters will be announced at the annual convention." At the banquet, after we finished steak dinner and cheesecake, the top 5 chapter presidents lined up on the stage. The master of ceremonies announced the 5th place, 4th place, 3rd place. And then he said, "The number 2 chapter in the nation is Fort Worth chapter." Yes, we did it. As I walked off the stage with the 2nd place award, I glanced at the Dallas chapter officers and I looked at that young, pretty face of the Dallas chapter president. She lowered her head. Oh, yes, revenge is sweet, Mr. Toastmaster.
I should start evaluation straight away, right?
Yes.
Toastmaster already. Awesome,
Yes.
awesome. One of my favorite quotes on leadership goes like this. If your actions inspire people to learn more, dream more, do more, and become more, then you are a transformational leader. On that note, let's see how DTM Sarfaraz went about with the objectives of this speech. The first thing which I noticed, which was a strong highlight of his speech, was the specific detailing. Notice how he gave vivid description of the places, the General Motors, the chapter meeting, the place, the location, the context setting of this entire speech was crystal clear. And I really appreciate the way in which he brought in subtle nuances. So detail aspect of the speech is something which I really admired about his speech. However, I feel my job as an evaluator will be justified if I focus more on the recommendation. Now, this speech does involve how you lead in a voluntary organization, and to great extent, DTM Sarfaraz dedicated a lot of time in context setting, which I feel could have been avoided. But having said that, there are a few fundamental things which I wanted to know, which is very much important when it comes to leading in a voluntary organization. Number one, which is environment. How did he create that environment? How was he able to bring in the confidence of all the members? These are fundamental attributes which I wanted to know, which are very essential to meet the objectives of the speech. So how did he created that environment, that trust, that bonding? He did mention that he used to speak with members regularly, but I felt what was that strong why which he communicated to the members. In fact, I came to know about that why, that okay, he wants to make his chapter the #1 chapter in Institute of Industrial Engineers, which was his stronger purpose. But how did that channelize to the members out there? That is something which I really wanted to know. How did he as a leader inspire members? Because it's a part of a voluntary organization. So these are certain nuances which I as an evaluator wanted to know in his speech. And number two would be the trustworthy factors, which is again a sub point to my point number one. So how did DTM Sarfaraz manage to get the trust of all the members? What were the checklists? How did he follow? What was the detailed timeline? How did they manage to track their progress with every month, every quarter? So as a leader, I feel these are certain fundamental nuances which DTM Sarfaraz could have explored. And having said that, the third thing which I would have really loved is that I just appreciate the way in which he did that. The 5th place, 4th place, the 3rd place. And I felt he could have paused a while out there to create the suspense level. And then the 2nd place, I feel he could have elaborated that in a much more suspenseful and much more enjoying manner. But having said that, I appreciate the detailed contest setting of the entire speech. However, to take the speech to the next level, I would urge him to give us how he managed to follow the progress, how he managed to go through the timeline, how he managed to inspire his members, how he managed to lead as a leader and inspire and create environment, trust. So these are certain fundamental things which I wanted to know, which would help me understand better as distinguished Toastmaster Sarfaraz as a leader. Thank you so much for giving us a good, I think it's a good speech, but there are still plenty of room for improvement. Having said that, let me invite Toastmaster Anto and Toastmaster Kalpana. So first it will be Toastmaster Anto who will speak on the recommendation, followed by Toastmaster Kalpana. Then on the commendations, we have Toastmaster Saurav and Toastmaster Shiva. So first I would hand over it to Toastmaster Anto, who would focus on the recommendation for 1 minute.
Thank you, Toastmaster Puneet. We heard a really well scripted story by Toastmaster Sarfaraz. I really like the way that he focused on one single narrative. And here are some of the recommendations that I think that I could share with him. So firstly, like I said, I love the way that you've narrated the entire thing. the area where I feel there is area where there's a distinct area for improvement is probably how you're able to bring the audience together with the story. So you're trying to, if you were able to probably ask a couple of rhetorical questions. Have you ever felt that you've been ignored in a public setting? Or have you felt excluded when other people get attention? Bring the audience together in your pain or in your emotion. That would have really sold your story much better. This is one point that I felt. So over to my next evaluator, Toastmaster Kalpana.
Thank you, Toastmaster Andrew. It was wonderful listening to you, Toastmaster Sarfraz. I have a recommendation that I would like to suggest you for your speech, and that one is putting 1 or 2 questions to audience wherein you will be able to hook them to your speech. The way you have narrated it was really awesome and good, but having 1 or 2 questions at the beginning would have hooked all our audience to your end, and it would be really great to see anything wherein we are connected with audience and getting up more details. This is one of my observation that I would like to suggest to you. Thank you and all the best. Over to the lead evaluator, Toastmaster Puneet.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Andrew and Toastmaster Kalpana. Next up, we have on the commendation front, Toastmaster Saurabh and Toastmaster Shiva. Let's have Toastmaster Saurabh, who will give commendation for 1 minute, followed by Toastmaster Shiva.
Thank you, Toastmaster Puneet. And congratulations, DTM Toastmaster Sarfraz, for that wonderful speech. And congratulations for being on the top 5 of the chapters. So one common thing which stood out throughout your speech was the vocal variety. So you have used vocal modulation a lot throughout your speech. If I can take an example, when you said our chapter was one of the average chapter in that, or you said I was very furious. So in all these instances, your vocal variety was very, very good, and it was coming out loud throughout. Second thing I'll say, it was an engaging story because you used a personal story. So the audience were able to connect to you. They were able to connect to your feelings. They were able to understand what emotions were flowing through you. So good job on that. So 2 things, vocal variety and connect with the audience. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Puneet.
Over to Toastmaster Shiva.
Oh, thank you, lead evaluator, Toastmaster Puneet. First of all, I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Sarfraz for completing his level 5 first speech. The one commendation I can say, the experience matter, whatever the storytelling techniques, the voice modulations, all are learned from starting from the start of our journey. But the experience, never give up. Even though we are hooked, we are not even considered in the one of the chapters, but still the fire in him was not gone away. That's what we all need to learn, and we need to grow up in our personal thing. That's what I would like. I like from his speech, that to reach our goals, never give up at any point of time. Thank you. Over to lead evaluator, Toastmaster Puneet.
Thank you so much. So let me summarize the powerful recommendations given by evaluators were rhetorical question, putting question to the audience, and on the commendation we have already heard is voice modulation. Engaging, it does happen that there are times when commendation and recommendation might overlap, but having said that, engaging story through audience connect and experience matters a lot. Now I would like to hand over this virtual stage to our speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Sarfraz, for any further comments.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the recommendations. At the start of my speech, I had asked the question, have you ever sought revenge? And I agree that I can add a few more questions, mostly related to the volunteer organization, and then take out a few of the details and add more information where I mentioned that talking to the chapter members, passing on the vision to them. In reality, I did not contact the entire chapter because most were inactive and it wouldn't matter to them whether we were first in the world or we were on the bottom of the pile. The few members who attended that plant tour at the General Motors, they were active members. So they knew what had happened. So it was easy to inspire them to say, let's go. So that's a very good recommendation of adding more questions at the start and also adding more information. Purpose was to take an incident from my life and convert it to speech. And the second objective was to give level 5 elective project. And this completes my level 5 of engaging humor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DTM Sarfaraz. Congratulations on completing level 5. And I must say that I've seen many projects that you did from this particular pathway, and you managed to add humor to all of them. And that is something that we can all learn. We all need more humor in our lives. Thank you so much, our distinguished speaker and all the evaluators. It was an absolutely fantastic learning session for all of us. Now we move on to our next speaker, and our next speaker is distinguished Toastmaster Raghu, and his lead evaluator is Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali, who needs to know that you cannot contract any virus through the screen.
Good evening, DTM Talha bin Hamid, Toastmaster of the Day. DTM Distinguished Toastmaster Raghu is going to embark on Pathway Leadership Development, and his project is for Level 2, Project 3, Introduction of Toastmaster Mentoring. The purpose statement of his project is for the member to project his clearly define how Toastmaster envisions mentoring. Purpose of this project is for the member to share some aspect of previous experience as protege. So we all are aware DTM Raghu is well versed in this mentoring. Timer, please note, speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. I have a team of recommendation and commendation. Recommendation is by Toastmaster Mariam Aftab and Toastmaster Imran Rana. And commendation will be by Toastmaster Karim Meghani and DTM Talha bin Hamid. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present DTM Raghu.
Toastmaster Latif.
Yes.
There is a change in commendation. Toastmaster Karim will not going to join us. Toastmaster Hiba will replace Toastmaster Karim.
Thank you. Welcome, Toastmaster Hiba. Now, let me introduce the speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, DTM Raghu, are you up to it? Are you up to it, DTM Raghu? Good luck.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. My name is Raghunath Raju, as I'm introduced today. I'm from the mystic land of India. And why do we call ourselves mystic? Is because we believe that God is omnipresent. God is everywhere, every human being. And especially we keep saying, Matru Devava, mother is God, Pitru Devava, father is God. And then we give utmost importance to our gurus, Acharya Devava, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheswara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guru Vedma. God is ultimate truth. And then our Guru is above God and near to God. Because he kills our ignorance like Shiva. He keeps igniting ideas like Brahma. he keeps us on the path, just like Vishnu is what we believe in. I have the privilege of meeting so many mentors, especially in Toastmasters. Yes, they were co-mentors, but they ensured to mentoring me to be the one on the path to success. In Toastmasters, I've overcome so many problems, overcome my problem to stutter, or overcoming my problem to communicate better. There's always second inning in life. It was just at the verge when I wanted to leave Toastmaster due to some politics I face in a district. But then God has his own idea. I was invited as a guest speaker in one of the clubs in United States. And then I met this wonderful person, DTM Abhijit. And I happened to join a couple of clubs from there. Another amazing person I have met was in our neighboring country, DTM Talha bin Hamid. And then wonderful lady, Toastmaster Margaret Blackstone. It was not just three. When I kept on hopping across the world, two evaluations hurt me here. First one, when I thought I was one of the good speakers in District 98, I went to this club and when they said, I don't understand what you are speaking is what I got in a written evaluation by someone. And then second feedback is recently I got from one of the renowned Toastmasters from District 101 when he said, Raghu, Toastmasters has spoiled you to use a lot of vocal variety and then the way you use body language. Is it how you speak to your friends on a dinner table? Really killed me here. All my pride that was here came down to my feet. That was when I went back to my mentors and started talking to them, revising my speeches, revising the way I speak. That is when I could gather all my courage back. DTM Abhijit is one of the leaders who does walk the talk. I've seen him facing a lot of heat, at the same time facing that with subtle leadership skills and not just any politics. With the way that he convinces people or the way that he mentors me, just very subtle and not just bossing around. Way that Margaret Blackstone helps me over the speeches to improve my English language to the next level has helped me a lot. The way that I'm speaking and people started saying that, Raghu, we can understand what you're speaking. When I have met DTM Talha bin Hamid first time in last year, he was evaluator to one of my speeches there. I was fan the way that he gave his evaluation. And then I also have taken himself to mentor two of my speeches. And also he has evaluated twice my speeches here. That helped me the way that I can look into speeches at an international platform and not just what I think. Over a period, I learned one thing. Mentors in your life, mentors in Toastmasters are anywhere else, are there to help us selflessly. Whether it is taking time to tell you, whether it is just taking that amount necessary to push you to do things better, which was not needed. They don't get anything out of it. From the land where our gurus are renowned, are always worshipped next to God. I'm proud that I got best gurus in my journey in my second innings in Toastmasters. But what mattered here is not just what they gave. What mattered was I up to it? Did I take the feedback and worked upon it? Was I up to it when I took that feedback from others evaluators and approached my evaluator? I just sulk sitting around and saying, I hate Toastmasters. Why do I even bother? Fellow Toastmasters and my dear kids, one thing I want to say, best way to learn in Toastmasters or out Toastmasters is to approach your guru or your teacher or your mentor with pure heart to learn and not to test our malign guru. And I'm sure in one or other way, you will certainly shine. There are mentors everywhere. Only what matters is, are you up to it, Toastmaster?
Thank you very much, DTM Raghu. It was a splendid speech. Let me tell you that I will be evaluating your speech within 3 parts. First, which I like. The very most which I like is the way you start with your gratitude to the land you are born, the Lord, and the most gracious, the mentors. So that was a wonderful start. And I can say that there can't be a better start than to this as of the project. Secondly, which of the things I like is your voice clarity. The way you explain when you were sorry with the district, the way you explain when you were happy with the district of your coming back to Toastmasters. And last, which I liked, the very, very best thing of yours was, in the end, you just not only left a message, you encourage all the new Toastmasters to stay engaged and continue learning. Now, how about if I have to bring this speech to a next level, a level of an extreme contest level? I have seen you being excited. You were going back and front to the stage. But if you would have gone a little back, I would have encouraged you or challenged you or given you a little more depth to your coming ahead. When you're coming ahead of the camera, you should be either smiling or that pause should be there for us to understand that you are upset or you're hurt by the evaluation which really mattered you most, of that bring the change of you in Toastmasters. Second thing which I really loved it was the title. Are you up to it? But then had it with a question for others to remember that, are they ready? I mean to say is, if this question was asked in middle of the speech, after the explanation, or before the start of that mentoration, it would be helped a lot. Lastly, but not the least, which I really want you to challenge yourself with is, when you were upset, I mean, this is to your advantage that you wear glasses. So put off the glasses, show some actions like, you were stressed, you were disheartened. This will give more action to your words. This is what I feel like, if I need someone to evaluate a DTM or a project which is, such a level, has to have some of the actions to the speech. Other than that, my team of evaluations will be guiding you further. Thank you very much for entertaining us. And it is a wonderful speech, a very wonderful experience of me to hear you live and with such an on a stage where we call it as a combined meeting. Thank you very much. Now, let me invite Toastmaster Mariam for recommendation of DTM Raghu's speech.
Thank you, Toastmasters Latif. Now, your speech was definitely a treat for our ears. As I'm in the recommendation team, that's my responsibility to point out a few things that I think that might need it. So, there's one thing, Raghu sir, you have a good personality. Trust me on that. Why don't you show off that? Let's move. Show us your gesture, your facial expressions. We would love to see that. Trust me, you have engaged us. No matter where we are, no matter what we are doing, we are definitely hooked up to your speech. But seeing you expressing those expressions, telling us through your gestures would definitely add a point on it. Well, I would definitely second Latif Saab on that thing. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mariam. You are a real model for us. Every time you bring us up to the speaker, you bring the young Toastmaster also with you. So congrats for your courage every now and then. Now let me invite our VP Education, Toastmaster Imran Rana, and I will please remind you that you have to time your speech by yourself.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. DTM Raghu, first of all, heartiest congratulations for delivering such an amazing speech. I must say you are a challenging speaker to evaluate. There's one area which I would like to suggest you or recommend you. When you were using your right hand, or maybe to me it was your left hand or right hand. To you it's your right hand. You were constantly using right hand quite a lot of time. But when you bring both of your hands together, then it shows more confidence and more valuable gesture. So just one suggestion: use both your hands wisely so that so that it puts a value and good impact on your speech. Just this one suggestion. Over to you, Latif.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Imran Rana. Now let's move ahead with commendation team, and commendation team is led by Toastmaster Hiba and DTM Talha bin Hamid. So Toastmaster Hiba Rais Khan, please, if you can give your commendation up on DTM Raghu's speech.
I am so sorry, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I did not exactly see my name. My mistake. I'm totally sorry in the agenda. So I'm really sorry on my behalf. I could not. I did not exactly listen to your speech properly the way I should have. I apologize.
No worries, Toastmaster Hiba. Actually, it's not your mistake. It is the last minute addition, and we thought you are always ready for it. I'll give you a minute also, if you can come back and try to wrap up something of commendation after DTM Talha delivers his commendation for DTM Raghu. DTM Talha bin Ahmed, please, if you can.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. I believe let's not ask Toastmaster Hiba, since he did not listen to the speech properly. So I'm not sure if he can come up with commendation. Instead, I will give myself a bonus and come up with 2 commendations. So first of all, DTM Raghu, the visual setup that you have today, the way you are dressed, your camera angle, your lighting, your background, that is exceptionally professional. It is very pleasing to the eyes. And that's also something that our Toastmaster Mariam also alluded to. Let me put it in clearer words. You look very smart and dashing today. And that is something to be commended, because it reflects your respect for the audience, the way you do your visual setup, and the way you dress, and the way you do your background for a speech. So that was the first commendation. The second commendation was, and that is versus your previous speeches that I've heard. Today you used pauses quite a bit, and those were very good pauses, in my humble opinion. You use them to build suspense. You use them to lend more weight to your arguments, and you use them to lend weight to your story. So I believe that the pauses that you took, especially before you moved on to the more dramatic phases of your speech. Those really, really served you well, and they were really, really well placed. So with that, I hand over the charge back to our lead evaluator, Toastmaster Latif.
Thank you very much. I think this is the best salad you had for evaluation. Now, DTM Raghu, please share your views of our evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif and your team, DTM Talha and Toastmaster Miriam. I won't eat anything for dinner today. After being told that I look smart enough, I don't think I need to have anything for dinner. But then leaving that, I take the recommendation that you have given and certainly will work towards it. Because the feedback, as they say, is something that we have to consider every step. And it helped me to grow. I will certainly take this feedback and implement in my next speeches. Thank you very much for the time. And Imran, I know it is not easy doing a dual role. I love the way Latif has told you that you need to time yourself. It's not easy, but you did it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, one and all. Now back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much. And I believe I speak for everyone when I say that every such evaluation session is like a course in public speaking for all of us. So I'm sincerely grateful not only to our speakers, but also to our evaluators. Moving on, since we are slightly behind schedule, we are, to be precise, 7 or 8 minutes behind schedule. So we need to move quickly. Mr. Timer Mr. Timer is busy on the phone. Oh yeah. Did all the speakers and evaluators qualify? Okay, so while I invite our table topics master, I will also be floating the polls for the best speaker and the best lead evaluator. So all of you are requested to vote quickly, and the first poll is being floated. And in the meantime, in order to save time, let me invite our table topics master. Please put your hands together from Nigeria, Oil City Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Tosin. Over to you, sir.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes,
it is time to
your order.
It is time to continue with our table topic segment, and this is the segment that's actually open to everyone present at the meeting. So you could be a Toastmaster, you could be a guest. You're welcome to participate in this segment. And I'd like to urge you to participate because I have a couple of affectionate questions which are designed to help you reflect on your year. So who would be the first volunteer? Please, you could indicate via the chat box, you could raise your hand, or you could simply unmute yourself to speak. So who would be the first volunteer? I can see someone on my screen. Okay, Toastmaster Giri. Toastmaster Giri, please confirm you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, Toastmaster Giri, how are you doing?
Very good. I just woke up from sleep.
All right, that means you're prepared for our question. Your question is, what has been your highlight of the year 2021? What has been your highlight of the year 2021?
Sorry, Toastmaster Giri, if you can pin my window temporarily. Toastmaster Imran is on a call from work, so I'll be doing the timing for your speech.
I should pin you. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Can I start?
Yes, you can.
2021 has been the most exciting year for me. I've been a Toastmaster for 11 years. Did nothing. I was actually sleeping in all the meetings. For 11 years, I've been a member of so many clubs. I was sleeping in all the meetings, and I was eating all the free lunches and free coffees and all the stuff. But 2021, I started stalking a few people. There's one person here. He's wearing the blue shirt, if you can recognize him. And there's a couple of other people who have been stalking. And I went to about 525 meetings in the past 5 months. I learned so much from so many wonderful, excellent speakers. I'm a very arrogant person. You see this? I grow my mush. I don't listen to anybody. I did not even accept any mentor. I don't have a mentor so far, but I think deep inside my heart, I have mentors. I just don't accept that I have mentors. You know, I'm very arrogant. I don't want to be the normal person. I want to be a hero for myself. And I am on the path of that. I'm just one speech away from my level 5 clearing one path. Toastmasters is the only place where you can go. You can be arrogant like this. You can be foolish. You can be stupid. You can do what you want and learn. That's what I keep telling everybody. It's one of the most exciting years for me of 11 years. Trust me, I've been 11 years lazy, dumb, stupid Toastmaster, but I'm there, I'm coming, I'm learning. It's been an exciting year. I hope every Toastmaster follows the Toastmasters principles and don't be arrogant, stupid like me. Just follow some mentors like our Raghunatha. I just don't get his name. His name is very tough for me. I still can't pronounce that. I'm still trying to practice that name. Looking at so many of you is such a great inspiration for me. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning just to listen to all of you. Thank you, Table Topics Master, for giving me the chance to speak.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Giri. That was a wonderfully crafted answer. And I particularly loved the reminder. As Toastmasters, we need to take our journeys seriously. And one of the ways to get that done is by effective mentorship. I can see a couple more hands. We have Toastmaster Saurabh, after which we have Toastmaster Namitha. So Toastmaster Saurabh, please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can't see you though.
You can see me.
See you now.
Can you see me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So Toastmaster Saurabh, what is something you wish you could have changed about the year 2021? What is something you wish you could have changed about the year 2021?
Sure. Thank you for that wonderful topic. So 2021 started with an announcement in my organization saying there are two entities which are going to be merged into a single entity. And that brought a lot of questions, a lot of queries, a lot of assumptions in the mind of people. But that also brought an opportunity because the transition period is something which you can utilize for your learning, for your upskilling, for trying out new things. But despite getting that 3 or 4 months of time wherein I could have done wonders in my learning, I could have tried a new track, I did not take the time very seriously. So if I look back now, I think I got an ample amount of time. I had an opportunity to do lots of things in terms of tech upskilling, which I did not do. That is one thing which I wish I could have changed at that point in time. But one good thing which I did back in those days was joining Toastmaster. I still remember the day when I called DTM Raghu that, Raghu, why don't you invite me as a guest in Hyderabad Toastmaster Entrepreneurs Club? And he said, yes, sure. I joined Toastmaster, and that was one thing which really went in a good direction. And today I'm trying out table topic for like second or third time. I don't remember, but it's a good experience to be in Toastmasters. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Saurabh. Once again, you have shared your experience with us as a Toastmaster. That's highly appreciated. Next, we'll have Toastmaster Namitha. Toastmaster Namitha, please confirm you can hear me. Can you hear me, Toastmaster Namitha?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you hear me? Just confirm
yeah.
you can hear
Yes,
me.
I can hear you.
All right. So your question, in what way do you hope to be different or to do something differently in the coming year? In what way do you hope to be different or to do something differently in the coming year?
So hello, Toastmasters and dear guests. Nobody's perfect. Also, I'm not perfect. So what I would like to change in my future and in 2022 is start to be calm and stop losing my cool frequently. The thing is that there are some things that I don't like. I don't like people late. I don't like people not being compliant. I don't like officers, especially in my home club, not participating in any of the Toastmaster meetings or not even taking up roles. Then why are you an officer? Simple as that, right? So when such things happen that are not correct with respect to me and that are not in line with my values, I lose my cool really badly. And a small spark ignites a fire that lasts rest of the day, 24 hours. I would really like to learn from one of my friends, Rajiv, from my home club, how he keeps us calm in every situation. Even in crisis, even when two speakers are missing, role players are missing, people are late, he's just so calm. Even my dad handles my mom. And trust me, I'm a mini version of my mom. So if I have a mini version, you can gauge how feisty and, fiery my mom is. And my dad keeps his cool very well with my mom. So I would like to learn how men are doing it, because rarely I see calm women, but calm men are very common. So in 2022, what I would like to change about myself would be to keep my cool and be calm and be the center of, steadiness in my club, or at least in my project or in my life for myself. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Navita. I can actually relate to your experience. Sometimes keeping your calm can be quite difficult, but I guess it's something we all have to master, especially within Toastmasters. Thank you for sharing. So do we have another volunteer?
I guess Kalpana nominated herself.
All right, let's have Toastmaster Kalpana.
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Good day, Toastmaster Kalpana. Your question: on a scale of 1 to 10, rate the year 2021 for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate the year 2021.
After seeing the pandemic, I stopped planning ahead things. I always planned for many things in 2019, especially I didn't want to go. I wanted to have zero work from home in 2019. But my resolution, God has decided that it will go fail so strong that my whole organization went into work from home. So I stopped literally planning ahead for 2022. All I plan for 2022 is to ensure that everybody is staying blessed, everybody is getting their prosperity, everybody is learning and growing, everybody is moving out of from their comfort zone to the growth zone, because everybody has to adapt the change and move on. That is when they will be able to improve themselves and bring in better and better and better person than their own self from what they were yesterday to tomorrow. This way, they will be able to compete with their own self and bring in the change so that they can influence people around them positively and ensure that everybody is following their routine and activity and getting the change. We should inspire in such a way that everybody around us will see that, see, when they can do this, why can't we do this? Let's try for that. This is how I want 2022 to be. Thank you for that wonderful topic. Over to Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Kalpana. Thank you for sharing. Do we have another volunteer? Toastmaster of the day, because of the time, do we round up here?
I think you can call one more speaker. We'll be good.
Oh. All right, so one more speaker. In the absence of, okay, I can see we have Toastmaster Abdul Rahman. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Toastmaster Tosin.
All right, Toastmaster Abdul. What do you consider the most important relationship you were able to nurture this year? What do you consider the most important relationship you were able to nurture this year?
Hello, Toastmasters and guests. What is the important relationship I could nurture this year in 2021? I have been working abroad out of India, and this year gave me the opportunity to quit my job abroad and come back to my family and spend quality time with my family. I think probably this was the best thing I got during this year. During this year, I got time to spend with my wife. We traveled some places despite the COVID, despite warnings from my family and friends. We traveled some places, uh, got time to spend together. And another thing which was good is that I joined a couple of Toastmasters clubs. One of them is Toastmaster for Hyderabad Entrepreneurs, and I got my mentor DTM Raghu, and there was a lot of learnings from him. And also, on top of it, I could, conduct the marriage of my daughter. So these were the, I think, very good things happened to me in 2021. Thank you, and over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Abdul. Seems like you had a wholesome year when it comes to relationships, from spending more time with your family to joining a new Toastmasters club and even celebrating the marriage of your daughter. Congratulations on that, by the way. And I would just like to say at this point, thank you very much to everyone who's spoken today. We had 5 different speakers. The first was Toastmaster Giri, then we had Toastmaster Surab, Toastmaster Namita, Toastmaster Kalpana, and finally Toastmaster Abdul. Thank you very much, and over to you, Toastmaster Abdul.
Wonderful, Toastmaster Tosin. That was such an inspiring table topic session, and I believe it struck a chord with all of us. Thank you for coming up with such topics, and I believe all the speakers did full justice. I will be floating the poll for not only the best table topic speaker, but also the best lead evaluator quickly. And in the meantime, I will also be introducing our general evaluator of the day, general evaluator, Toastmaster Abdul Rahman. So, Mr. Timer, I believe everyone is qualified for table topics.
Yes, all the table topic speakers are qualified.
Okay, so everyone, please, it will be slightly disturbing. You'll see the poll during the meeting, but we have to hurry. We are a few minutes behind, so we aim to make up. Bear with me, and over to you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Abdul Rahman.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Talha. Indeed, it was a wonderful meeting. I should say that this is one of the best meetings I have attended in the recent times. Probably this is one of the best Sundays I've spent attending this meeting. We'll now quickly move on to the evaluation of the meeting. To start with, I would request the reports from the role players. May I now request timer Toastmaster Imran Rana to present his report, please.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Abdul Rahman. Okay, we started a minute late. Let me announce the timing for the taken by the keynote speaker. Keynote speech was about 20 to 25 minutes. His keynote speech ended up in 20 minutes, and Q&A session was almost ended in 7 minutes. Then we had prepared speeches. DTM Sarfaraz was our first speaker. He took 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Then the lead evaluator took 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Then the recommendation from the from team first recommendation took 1 minute and 1 second. Then second recommendation took 42 seconds. Then commendation took 52 seconds. Second commendation took 50 seconds. Then the speaker responded in 1 minute and 17 seconds. Then we had our second speaker, DTM Raku. He took 7 minutes and 10 seconds. And then we had Toastmaster Latif as a lead evaluator. He completed his evaluation in 3 minutes. Then we have Mariam Aftab. First recommendation from our side, she took 1 minute. Then myself took 48 seconds for recommendation. Then we had Heba, but unfortunately she did not. Toastmaster Talha took 1 minute and 47 seconds to give his recommendation. Then we had table topic session. First speaker, Toastmaster Giri, took 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Then we had Toastmaster Surab, took 1 minute and 28 seconds. Then we had Toastmaster Namrita, took 1 minute and 58 seconds. Then we had Toastmaster Kalpana, took 1 minute and 35 seconds. Then we had Toastmaster Abdurrahman, took 1 minute and 28 seconds. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran, for the precise report. Can I now request our counter, Toastmaster Divya, to present her report? Toastmaster Divya.
Yes. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. And sorry to introduce myself late. So before jumping on to my readings, I just would like to give a brief description of the purpose of this R counter rule. So as an R counter, I'll be observing the words or the sounds that are used as fillers or crutch words. So when I say crutch words are something like and, well, but, all these things. And fillers are all these things, and the repetition words. And I'll be counting on the short or long pauses. So coming to my report, as we all are human beings, so I can say that everybody gave their best, but a few minor things will be there. So let me read out those. Abdul Rahman has 0 counts, and Hamid has 0 counts, and speaker Manan has 1 repetition of the word, and Saurabh has 1 Puneet has 0 counts, and speaker Nazir has 0 counts, and Ando has 1 and Siva has 1 Raghu has 0 counts, and Latif Mansoori has 0 counts. Marian has 0 counts. And yeah, that's it from my end. Sorry if I have missed someone's name. Thank you. Over to you, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Divya, for your rapt attention throughout the meeting and presenting the report. I now request our language evaluator and grammarian, Toastmaster Essay, to present her report. Toastmaster Essay. Toastmaster Essay, are you there? Toastmaster Essay. I think she dropped off.
Yeah, perhaps you can move on to the next role player, and then we can come back to it.
It is now time for our listener, Toastmaster Giri, to take the stage. Toastmaster Giri.
TMoD, how much time do I have?
Traditionally 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, then I'm just waking up from sleep. Can somebody show some hands for me, please? Wake me up, just some hands. Oh man, that was the boringest meeting I ever sat in the morning. Do you feel like that? Was it exciting?
No.
I did not listen to anything, man. I was sleeping. But in my sleep, I heard a few things. I want to ask you some questions if you are a good listener. I'm a very bad listener. I told you already. I'm very maverick, crazy guy. I heard something. I don't know who this person is. TMoD, Talha. How many times was he at DTM? Somebody raise your hand and answer, please. No, Mr. Raghu, you're disqualified. You cannot answer. Can somebody on? Yes, Toastmaster Kalpana?
4 times.
I think Mr. Raghu must have leaked the information there. And Mr. Yeah, Toastmaster DTM 4 times. Talha, he mentioned a TV serial. Can someone name the serial? He mentioned a TV serial which starts in Saturday night and Sunday morning.
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. Guys, I thought I was sleeping. I was really sleeping now. Here. Okay, get it. Now, he mentioned in that show, there were 4 characters. Can anybody remember the 4 characters? Top actors, top names.
Tom Hanks.
Yep. One more. It starts with T.
Tina Fey.
Okay, then one more. It starts with P. Okay, Paul Rudd. And okay, I get the prize there again too. Okay. I'm moving on. I told you I'm very crazy maverick guy. I'll not wait for you all to answer. And what's the word of the day, please?
Affectionate.
Affectionate. One person said affectionate. I was expecting everybody to scream affectionate. I'm here invited affectionately by Toastmaster Raghunath Raju, waking up 5:30, come and do this role. And our keynote speaker, Brahma, twisted that Saturday night to something else. Did anybody notice it? Our TMoD Talha said Saturday night live. Our Brahma twisted it to Saturday night fever. Okay, I'm moving on. I don't have much time, 3 minutes. I was asking for 10 minutes of time for asking questions. Okay, there is one more 16th century old person. Does anybody remember the name of it? Who some quote, big quote, the world is to be narrowed. Okay, at least just get me the name of it. Okay, name of the person. Come on. The world is not to be narrowed till it will go into understanding whatever big thing. You don't remember the name. 16th century old guy must have died long time back. I'm alive from 15th century.
He's still alive.
Yeah. I'm very old. Like I say, I lost all my hair. Francis Bacon. Come on, write it down, guys, and Google it up. Francis Bacon, 16th century. The quote is really good. I told you, you're all sleeping. I told you it's a boring meeting. You're really proving it, man. Please disprove it. And our DTM Brahma said some many years, 5,000, 10,000, some number he mentioned in that speech about Homo sapiens. What was the years? How many years did he mention?
16,000.
It was 60,000. 60,000. You got it.
Close enough.
Okay. He showed a video. He showed a beautiful lady. I'm single. I'm trying to find that lady. What's the lady's name? He showed a beautiful video. There was a nice lady talking. I just fell for her. I just woke up from my sleep. Come on, give me the name. Dr. Alice Roberts. Oh God, my heart is just sinking. You don't remember her name. And what was the name of the documentary? Oh gosh, I'm going to complain to her when I meet her, right? The Incredible Human Journey. And what are the 3 attributes that lady was talking? Please at least remember the 3 points. And Dr. Brahma really got the video. I really fell for her, man. The 3 points which we should remember for connecting and being humans with technology. What are the 3 points? Human characters. Looks like I'm the only human here, and Dr. Brahma and Dr. Talha. Okay. Ingenuity, resourcefulness, and adaptability. 3 points, right? Ingenuity, adaptability, and resourcefulness. That's what makes us humans separate them. Toastmaster Kalpana, you can just scream. Nobody is raising hands. Only you and Dr. DTM Raghu is disqualified. He cannot answer. Okay. In one of those, he mentioned, did anybody listen to the speech? Connect. I want to connect with you all. I'm trying to scream, yell, move my hands. But our Brahma said there's one app where he takes Appointments. What's the name of the app?
Calendarly. Calendarly.
Sir, you are also disqualified. Next question. No, you can't answer. So where was the convention of the speech? Sweet revenge speech. At least did you hear that? Where was the convention held where he got the prize for Fort Worth chapter?
General Motors.
Where was the convention held?
Texas, USA.
Hollywood, California. That's where he got the chapter. Okay, what was the other chapter with which he got the sweet revenge on? I told you I'm very arrogant, maverick, and stupid guy, and you're making me prove it. Okay, that's wonderful. That is Dallas, Texas chapter. Thank you. I still have a lot of questions, but I'm like, I don't want to make you feel bad. I know you've been here for 2 hours. I just want you to feel good. Cheer up and clap up and just wave some hands. Get up from sleep. At least let's listen to the ending speech from our 4 times DTM. Shake your hands. There's nothing wrong here. You can just shake your hands like that. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me the chance. Let's have some energetic day or night. And for the next speech, I really, really want you to be listening. That's what we are here, Toastmasters. You come to Toastmasters to do all the mistakes and learn. This is the only place in the world you can do any mistake and you can be the most stupidest fool, but you can learn. I'm here for that only. I know I behave so stupidly, but I'm here to learn and improve myself. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Giri, for the delightful report, very interesting report. Lastly, may I request the tech host and vote counter, DTM Talha, to provide his report.
Actually, I think we need to have our table topics evaluation as well, for which Toastmaster Hiba is standing by. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests, sorry for the delay. I had missed it earlier. Okay, so the first speaker was TM Giri. He spoke about the topic, what has been the highlight of 2021. He had good hand gestures during the time he spoke, good flow of speech, good eye contact, and good confidence. However, he could have incorporated a bit of greeting in his speech. And I suppose he is sitting down because I cannot see a bit of his, sitting body, a bit of body gestures were missing. So that should have been incorporated in his speech. Other than that, it was pretty good. And moving on, TM Surba, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Sorry if I'm not.
Saurabh.
Okay, Saurabh, okay. What could have you changed about 2021? Positives were hand gestures, good eye contact, good flow of speech, and good confidence. The things that he could have improved upon were he could have incorporated greeting and a bit of body gestures. TM Namita, she spoke about in what ways do you wish to be different or to do something differently in the coming year. The positives of her speech were greeting, good eye contact, good confidence. She could have incorporated hand gestures, body gestures. She was sitting down, so that is why I could not see her body gestures. And that's about it. Moving on to the next speaker, TM Kalpana. She spoke about, she was given the topic, rate your year on a scale of 1 to 10. The positives of her speech were good hand gestures, good eye contact, good confidence. She could have improved upon, she could have incorporated a bit of greeting in a speech, body gestures. Again, like everyone else, she was sitting down. So that should have been a point avoided because majority of the speakers that I'm coming across, I cannot see their body gestures. Like, for instance, they should at least be standing like this so that I can see the body gestures, how they're able to flexibly, move their body about during the time they speak. And the last is TM Abdul Rahman. During the positives that during his speech were good greeting, good flow of speech, and good confidence. hand and body gestures, and again, since he was, I suppose, sitting down, I could not see his body gestures. That's about it. Over to the general evaluator. Over to you, general evaluator.
Sir, you're muted, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Toastmaster Hiba, for the in-depth evaluations, and I believe it is beneficial for all of us. Lastly, I would request DTM Talha to present his report, please, for the tech-hosted vote counter.
Yeah. So traditionally, the vote counter we presented along after the Toastmaster of the Day is done with their role, because they are also one of the candidates for the best Big Four. So
I'll
at
move
that
on then.
point, it will be, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it is time now for me to present the evaluation of the overall meeting. Indeed, I'm very honored and very happy to observe the meeting of today, where we have so many accomplished Toastmasters participating in this meeting. Meeting room was opened well in advance to enable all the members and guests to interact with each other. The meeting started almost on time, just 1 minute delayed, which is fine. Today, indeed, it was another demonstration of how Toastmasters across the globe are always willing to support each other by filling the roles at the last minute. DTM Talha filled in the role of Toastmaster of the Day at the last minute and conducted the meeting with precision and expertise. For me personally, it was a great learning experience. Moving on, the keynote speech by DTM Brahm was really inspiring and an eye-opener for me. Very well said, DTM Brahm. Transform the experience through connections. Transform the experience through connections. It's a real take-home for me. Both the prepared speeches were stimulating, and there are a number of learnings from these two speeches as well. The evaluations led by Toastmaster Puneet and Toastmaster Latif, along with the teams, were really seamless and impeccable. Moving on, the table topic master, TM Tosin, introduced very interesting and engaging topics which were relevant to the meeting theme. Overall, it was a great learning experience for me personally, while it was enjoyable and enlightening. Thank you so much, everyone. I will now hand over the virtual stage back to DTM Talha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Journal Evaluator, for that beautiful evaluation of the meeting. And I find myself really inspired by the way you speak. Let me just say that. It is so calm and collected, and we can hear every word. So it is something to be inspired from. Thank you so much. As the vote counter, I'll be floating the last poll of the day, which will be, we call it the best Big Four because we club the table topics evaluator along with the other three big role players. So everyone, please wait for your favorite best Big Four. And in the meantime, let me ask, let me take over now. Let me remove the hat of Toastmaster of the Day and take on the hat of the one of the presiding officers. So first of all, everybody, thoroughly honored to be a part of this meeting. And I know that perhaps we did not have as many participants as we would have wished, but those people who participated, their lives have been changed as a result of this meeting. And that is alone is worth it. So I will invite our fellow presiding officer, Toastmaster Tosin, to share his thoughts on the meeting.
Thank you very much. So basically, the meeting was a success, and I didn't expect anything short because it's only a testament to how much we can do when we really come together. And so this has been just one more lesson, one more reminder that we're always that much better when we come together to work together. I have learned a couple of things I will be taking back to my club, and that's part of the beauty of such meetings. So thank you very much for granting me the opportunity to be a part of this meeting. I have had a wonderful time, and I hope we all did as well.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tosin. And now we'll have the presiding officer from Toastmasters for Hyderabad Entrepreneurs. Please share your thoughts. It's Toastmaster Shiva. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was indeed a great meeting. As I said, experience matters. We learned a lot. Even our listener was also so active. It was a wonderful session that we had. We see in a couple of meetings, but we usually don't have that one. But yes, it is also it is also a learning topic, and the keynote speaker, everything was wonderful, and enjoyed a lot and learned a bit of evaluations. Evaluating a speaker in a 360 degrees. It was in an advanced Toastmasters club, so that speaker and the evaluator also learn in the different areas. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shiva. And it would be a travesty if we don't seek the comments of our keynote speaker, CDD District 36, DTM Brahm Memone. DTM Brahm, over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's just, I'm just thinking how amazing this meeting is. You know, when people share from their heart their own personal stories, we heard from Sarfaraz Nazir there, his personal story, or from Namitha in her table topics about how she's always angry, now she needs to calm down. Just amazing. You know, one of the things that I would really like to sort of share at the moment as well is, you see this picture behind me, world famous, right? You know, something happened that day. And it wasn't during the cricket while they were competing, but it was after cricket when they connected. It changed the world. And you should have seen the comments from all the people who put comments after this picture about, you know, we are all one, you know, this is all humanity and so on and so forth. It was all about love. And so that is where, you know, as Toastmasters, when we meet and then we do our meetings, but then, you know, we can also be lighthearted at the same time. That's where we connect. So thank you very much for the invitation. Back to you, Talha.
Thank you so much, DTM Brahm, for that inspirational keynote, and also for sharing your feelings with us. Now, without further ado, I am going to share the results of the polls as a vote counter. Best prepared speaker goes to someone who conquered a bitter rivalry and for whom the revenge is sweet. DTM Sarfaraz, congratulations. Best table topic speaker goes to someone who spoke the heart out on behalf of every club officer in history. I mean, DTM Toastmaster Kalpana, congratulations on winning the table topics. And I can't begin to tell you how much I related to your speech as a club officer. And yes, we tend to be always angry as club officers because there's no shortage of people trying to make us angry. And the situations that you described were really striking close to heart. So congratulations on that. For best lead evaluator, we have Toastmaster Puneet. Congratulations, Toastmaster Puneet. For best tag team player, I'm seeing something highly unusual. This is the first time ever that I've seen the timer win the best tag team player. Toastmaster Imran Rana, congratulations. You did a sterling job as timer. And for best big four, unfortunately, I happen to be the winner. I know you have every reason to doubt that. So I will share the screenshot of that as well. But, you know, like you all know most of you voted for me, so that's why I won. So please don't doubt my integrity. And with that, with those results, we'll also be issuing the certificates to the winners with a note of thorough gratitude and admiration for everyone who attended today. I declare this meeting closed and stopping the recording, and all of you